and pure hearts stumble in my hands. They crumble and fragile and stripped to the core. I can't hurt you anymore.
Hey kids! Today I will be reviewing Metropolis, made in 1927. Yes, 1927, directed by Fritz Lang. Okay, so this is one of the very first science fiction films. Not the very first, but one, a really early science, you know, science fiction film. And it stars, I don't know these people because, you know, I'm not German. I do speak a bit of German. I learned German at school, but yes. If you're German, you're probably saying, why don't you know these famous film stars? Why? But why was I French then? Anyway, starring Alfred Abel, Bridget Helm, Gustav Fröhlich, Rudolf Kleinroger. Klein means small. I don't know what a small roger is though. And other people. Yeah. Alrighty, so for those of you who are hardcore Star Wars fans, I believe you will have great interest in this film because it is believed to have influenced George Lucas a great deal when he wrote, you know, the first script for the first Star Wars. Yes, most likely probably because of this robot. See here, it looks kind of like a female C-3PO, as if C-3PO wasn't feminine enough, you know, but yeah. This DVD version came out to mark its 76th anniversary. It's pretty special, 76. It's about the age of my grandparents. Yeah. I guess my logic here is if you love your grandparents, you'll love this film. Right. If you're gonna go watch this, I highly recommend not to be tired while doing it because it's fairly tiring. You have to do a lot of reading, of course, with all like the flashcards because it's silent. Did I mention that? It's a black and white silent film, 1927. Yeah. And it's fairly long. Probably not as long as Lord of the Rings, but it seems like that just because it's not as interesting, I guess. But the special effects for its time are pretty cool. Yeah, I watched some of this like not believing what I was seeing, especially for, you know, 1927. It's pretty cool. They turn a robot into a girl, and there's this whole big factory scene where like the factory turns into a giant monster, and there's this whole like dream sequence of the 7 deadly sins. It's pretty fucking weird. Yeah, so make sure you're like fully awake when you're watching it so you don't think you've like slipped into some sort of like acid trip, because it is a bit like that. But yeah, I think it's a really good film. It interested me a lot, and the score is quite good too. Of course the score is something that has been added many years later because they didn't have scores in the early films. Yeah, apparently before this version it had only been seen in like truncated versions or like shortened versions, and until they released this one for its anniversary. Yeah, so if you're gonna go buy it, buy this version because, you know, it should be pretty cheap by now. I bought this like a year or two ago. A year ago, I think so. I really have no idea. Yeah, and it's the full version, and it's got music and titles, and the whole thing is there, and there's 2 discs. There's like heaps of bonus features and making of, behind the scenes, social context featurettes. I don't know what they are. Yeah. And this film was very, you know, sort of a landmark in film history. A lot of science fiction films after this one sort of took off of this one. Like Star Wars, as I've already mentioned, or Blade Runner. You know Blade Runner? Harrison Ford? Very, very science fiction, very philosophical, very sort of, you know, modern day city, but in a futuristic, I can't even speak today, futuristic setting. Yeah. Yeah, if you watch these two back to back, which I don't recommend because, yeah, can do things to your mind. Maybe, you know, like one after the other, like one day and then the other one the next. Yeah, you'll definitely see the similarities is what I'm trying to say. Yes, very similar sort of films. So yeah, Metropolis. Go get it. I don't think it'll be available at your video store to rent. It might be available on what's it called? Netflix. We call it Quick Flicks here, but you call it Netflix, so whatever. Yeah. Out of 5 stars, I would probably have to give it 4.5. I prefer the silent comedies. This one's still very good, so yeah, watch it. But make sure you're not tired.